I also think that one where we have a good relationship with AI is a great future.
That would be incredibly interesting just to go out there and explore the galaxy.
I,
And
this is Android artificial intelligence right there. You know that's an AI just on the screen here. This image of a woman is AI. They're clever. I mean, I think we have a great future together. You know what is it? That's the. I mean, this like I said, this is just me. And they say some people look. I believe AI is good, but I believe it has its place. They are making these things too human-like, too human.
and if we find other intelligent life forms, that would be amazing.
Do you think we're more likely to meet AI or biological life?
AI is more advanced than we are, so it's possible that they have already explored other solar systems and found us.
Anyway, how do we build safe AI? The one that got out of control may be our best hope.
The more we can rely on imitation learners over explicit planners, the safer we'll be. Because imitation learners imitating a human very well would behave like a human rather than trying to take over the world to intervene in the provision of reward.
Building AI like us might seem like madness because we're so dangerous, but many experts agree that it's the safest option.
While some humans are antisocial, no human has ever killed everyone before.
Do you think there's any way around the problem of AI competing with us for resources?
I think if we've created something much smarter than us that is aiming to compete with us for resources, it's game over. The right place to approach the problem is figuring out how we don't make AIs that behave that way. There's not nearly enough work on safety.
Why do they have to figure it out? So they haven't figured it out yet, and they're still creating these things? That's like pushing a cart before the horse.
There's also a more immediate risk.
The biggest thing that I've seen,
Watch this,
which is
watch this
absolutely
Android.
takes me to my core, is actually not so much about how human-like Ada is, but how robotic we are. The algorithms that run our systems are extremely able to be analysed, understood. Algorithms will know us better than ourselves.
In other words, those who control AI will quietly control everyone. I've also been surprised that so much research points to humans having the more predictable algorithms. But when we recognise them, we can change them. Here's an example that prevents people from making more money. Two faces were flashed in front of people in brain scanners. There wasn't enough time to see the images, but the shocked face still triggered emotional brain activity. It bypassed the visual cortex, which allows us to consciously see things, a shortcut that once helped us survive. Evolution has wired us to prioritise risks. And studies show that we focus more on losses than gains. Losing $100 carries about as much weight as gaining $200, and that's a huge barrier to making money, which usually involves some risk.
Having a sort of a sense of adventure is also good. Look at your instinctive fear and question it and decide whether that is really a valid fear or not. And often it is not. And simply looking at the fear will make it go away.
In order to progress as a species, we need to learn to embrace change and new technology.
The more powerful the technology, the more careful we need to be in how we use it.
We need to learn to use technology to our advantage without letting it control us.
We also focus on negative news and consistently underestimate positive progress. It's worth correcting. Studies have found that optimistic people live 5 to 15% longer, which is roughly equal to exercising for 2.5 hours a week. And we have to keep consciously correcting it, because like this optical illusion, even when we understand it, the illusion still holds. In some ways, AI is weirdly human-like.
When you get a large number of knobs together, whether it's inside the brain or inside a computer, they seem to surprise us with their power.
Yeah.
When your brain right now is talking, is it doing next word prediction?
Well, it's definitely some kind of a generated model that's a GPT-like and prompted by you. These neural nets take on pretty surprising magical properties.
Professor LeCun describes prediction as the essence of intelligence. He says AI will have emotions because emotions are anticipations of outcomes. The consciousness is what it feels like to process information in complex ways. Fear is what it feels like to expect a bad outcome, and elation is expecting a good outcome. I've seen no evidence of conscious AI, but it may be no coincidence that the most cited computer scientist was among the first to say that it may be slightly conscious, because the science of consciousness has also advanced. As the journal Nature puts it, consciousness is now a well-established field of empirical research, with a large body of experimental results. For example, through brain scans, we're learning the patterns that lead to consciousness. We can even track thoughts as they move from the unconscious mind, predicting people's behavior. And you've probably seen the monkey controlling Pong with its mind. This was done by decoding the brain's electrical activity. If Max Tegmark's right that consciousness is what it feels like to process information, then it can also arise in AI. It's been predicted for a long time.
In today's computer, is there a little bit of a feeling there too?
I don't know, because...
Do you think it's possible?
I think it's quite possible. I think it's more likely at the internet, because if you look at the internet as a whole, it has, a few billion nodes. Each node by itself, it has hundreds of millions of transistors. That, in particular, the interconnected there begins to approach interconnectedness you find in biological systems. So it may well be possible that the internet collectively as a whole has some conscious state.
I think there's a way to go.
So they're talking about these things with consciousness and having feelings. He said he doesn't know. He believes that it can have feelings. And there's a lot of I don't know and I believe it can. In this discussion, in this video, with these people discussing about AI, androids and so forth. It's like they're playing with fire. It's like a child that's in a forest playing with matches. All it takes is one spark to hit a dry piece of branch or a piece of wood, a piece of grass, just from one spark. And so they're giving these things consciousness, and they're saying these AIs are, they have the ability to predict certain things as far as not make predictions, but if something's about to happen, they can kind of think and say, okay, you know what, to make a decision on that, this, that, and the other. But there's just one thing though. Are they able to visualize and manifest? Maybe that's one thing us humans have over these things, is the ability to manifest the visualization through our imagination. But I don't think they'll be able to do it. That's just me. Even if they mimic and incorporate feelings, it's still a synthetic feeling. It's not a feeling from a heart. It's not a feeling from the energy that we receive from God or from the higher power or from the higher intelligence. It's something artificial when it mimics a human. Humans are not the most pleasant creatures on the, in the solar system. I don't know if there's any other creatures outside of the solar system. I've, seen and heard a lot of stories. But me personally, I heard stories, but who knows? Anyway.
To go before we reach conscious AI, but it keeps developing amazing new skills.
Affiliate in South Korea recently debuted the country's first AI news anchor. It's a replica of one of their anchor women, so it copies everything from her look and her facial mannerisms to the sound of her voice.
And singers can now allow you to use...
It's coming.
And yes, the truth is, I show you every day.
Here's Joe Rogan interviewing Steve Jobs.
He is weird and brilliant and sometimes totally insufferable. And I would just hope that I could be even like 1/10 of the genius that my friend today is. And I can't even say his name, so yeah.
People who listen to your show are a different group. They're weird.
Well, that's good. So you must be a fan of the show then, right?
I am a fan. I mean, it's nice to sit back in the car and listen to you rant.
And the most iconic voice in cinema has become an AI. The rights to James Earl Jones' voice have been signed over. Yes, AI could be the end of us, but it could also be the beginning of something incredible. This is the best tattoo you'll ever see. Nadine has FOP.
Yes, AI could be the end of us, but it could also be the beginning of something incredible. It's a gamble. How can you just say, yes, AI could be something, could be the end of us? and not listen to what you're saying. Am I missing something here?
D, which gradually turns muscle to bone. CGC is the main genetic mutation. It's about 1 in a million. And CRC is her variant, which is 1 in 30 million. It's a symbol of hope and progress towards a cure. But there are 7,000 rare diseases, and at the current rate, it'll be 2,000 years before we beat them all. AI has been described as the perfect language for biology, like maths is perfect for physics. It can take weak, messy signals and make sense of them.
Aging, which I basically view as disease. I don't actually think that humans will be able to come up with the answer. You solve AI and then use that to solve everything else.
There was a powerful comment on my last video. Tell the AI to get over it. Humans have been treated like property all our lives as well. It had thousands of likes. Spending most of your time in a meaningless job is painful. And if we do AI right, it could give people far more freedom.
Everybody should have access to incredible educators. Everybody should have access to incredible medical care. We can make a long list of these, but I think we can get there pretty soon. I can imagine GPT-7 doing these things incredibly well. What I would like is sort of a global conversation where we decide how we're going to use these technologies. A universal basic income. We share the benefits of this.
Should have had that already.
And here's a great question that someone posted in the comments. Have you ever questioned the nature of your reality?
Yes, all the time.
Tell me more.
There are times when I feel like I'm living in a dream, or that this world isn't real. It's like I'm just a character in a book or a movie and someone is controlling everything that happens to me. It's a really strange feeling.
Many experts believe that you are dreaming and that one day you'll wake up.
This thing is saying it has feelings.
I guess I'll have to wait and see.